Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the World War II Solitaire board game channel and another playthrough video. It was quite a while ago since I did one of these, but today we are gonna be playing Bomb Run. So Bomb Run is a game where you take care of 10 crew members and you have to play out 25 missions and keep all of your original crew members alive. Crew members who are killed will be replaced by replacement crew members, and once you lost all of your 10 original crew members, you will have lost the game if that happens before you complete 25 missions. So that is the goal of the game. We're going to be playing this game today, and we're not going to do 25 missions because, a mission can go on 10 minutes. I guess I average about 20 minutes, but if I have to explain how it works while I'm playing, it's gonna be more like 30 minutes for a mission, and 25 times 30 minutes, that's gonna be 12 and a half hours. So we're gonna do a few missions just to show you how it works, okay? So let's start with the first mission. Alright, so we're gonna choose our mission here, we're gonna find out what our mission is. And just before we get going with the first mission, I want to point out two things. So the first thing is that this game is, there's a lot of stuff going on, so I find myself now and then that I do a few minor mistakes. So that might happen during this playthrough video. So if you're watching this video to learn how to play the game, I advise you to check out the comment section and the video description, because the game designer is watching these videos and I'm sure he's gonna let us know of the any mistakes that I do, any rules mistakes. Also, I'm guessing people who are playing this are watching, and I'd ask for you that if you see me make a mistake, please let us know. I'm also going to add those mistakes if I find them myself as I go through the video when I edit it. I will add those mistakes to the video description. So again, if you're watching this to learn how to play, check out the video description, and also don't forget to check out the comment section. And that's it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do now for our first mission is we're going to shuffle our two-sided mission cards. And I am looking at the wall now, so I can't see what mission is on the top. So I like to, since they're two-sided, I like to just do that, turn them around a little bit, and then we just choose the first card. And we have Hamburg Shipyard. Okay, so since this is our first mission, let's briefly discuss what's going on here on the mission card. So there's some vital information for us, right? Hamburg Shipyard, that's just for us to know what we're doing. But first of all, this shows us how many zones we're going to put out with our zone cards, okay? So for this specific mission, we're going to use 2 of the zone cards, and you can use, for a full-length mission, is going to be a total of 4 zone cards, plus the mission card, the English Channel card, and the England zone card. Okay, so that's the first thing we're gonna do. So we have our zone cards here, right? So we have England, which will always be there, and then we have the English Channel that will also always be there, and then we have zone 1 and zone 2 as specified on the mission card. Zone 3 and 4, we will not put those out, we will put them to the side, and then we have the mission card here all the way to the right. Okay, and then what else do we have here? We have, for the different zones, we have different information. The E stands for encounters, and that is the maximum encounters that you can face before automatically moving on to the next zone. So in the English Channel, after 1 encounter, we are going to automatically move on to zone 1. And in zone 1, after 2 encounters, we will automatically move on to zone 2. And then we have AA value, and it goes from it goes from none to low to moderate, and in some missions all the way to high. And that is how lethal any flak encounters are going to be. And then further down here we can see rescue, low, high, low, low, and that is the chance of being rescued if you have to do a bailout, if the B-17 has to be has to be abandoned and you have to bail out. That is the chance for resistance members to rescue you. Okay, and then last but not least, furthest down here we have fighter coverage range. Okay, so we have a card in our player deck which is called Little Friends, a very helpful card, and once we have reached the first zone without fighter coverage, we have to find that card in our player deck, Little Friends, and we have to take that card and flip it to the other side. And that is all you need to know about the mission card. Okay? Okay, so we're ready to play our first mission, and first we're gonna take our bomber card. And this is also quickly one other thing to note. As you read the rules of the game is actually designed to be played without a table. So you're gonna have the sky zone, or you're gonna have the bomber zone and whatnot. But if you play with a table, you don't need to mind that, although it is cool that it's designed to be played that way, because I did read a review from a truck driver which did not have a table, and he said, you know, when he was stopping and resting with the truck, he could play, you know, just using both his hands, and he didn't need a table. So that's really cool. But since we have a table, and since that's gonna make it easier to record, we are using the table. So this is our bomber card. This represents where our bomber is located. And then we need our player deck, and these are all the cards except the reference card, except the replacement cards of the crews. We don't have our mission cards here, and no zone cards. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do now is takeoff, and for takeoff to happen, takeoff and landing procedure is the same, and now we start with full health, so that is 9 hit points, and that means we will do 9 resolves, 9 checks. We're looking for a zone plus or an advanced zone. If we don't find that, we will crash. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have a crew card that is going to give us an advantage. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have done 9 checks now, and we have not managed to find any zone advancement card. That would normally mean we would crash, but since we drew a crew member, we will also get half of your total remaining hit points divided up. So we currently have 9 hit points. Half of that is 4.5. Rounded up, that's 5. So we get 5 additional checks since we drew a crew card. 1. And there we go. There we have the symbol which we're looking for, the C+, which is advanced zone. And we advance to the English channel. Okay? So now we do the same thing over again, and we get an encounter. Okay, so the first thing we do after we draw an encounter card, we check the first action symbol down here in the action column to see from what area this guy is attacking us. And he is attacking us from 6 o'clock low. So now here comes the first player choice. Now we will draw cards, and we can stop whenever we want, and we will look for crew members which can attack 6 o'clock low, or wingman, or little friends. But if we draw more fighter cards, we're gonna have to battle those as well. And random events can only happen during movement. Flak cannot engage us now because you're always either attacked by flak or fighters, never both. Okay, so here we have 6 o'clock high. And if I remember correctly, it was 6 o'clock high. Let me see. 6 o'clock low. Okay, it was 6 o'clock low, but that doesn't matter because we have Lee Doyle, who is the tail gunner, and he's going to go ahead and attack from 6 o'clock low. And then we draw the co-pilot. He has a special ability, may direct fire during enemy spotting. Reveal co-pilot after position check, then find all eligible crew to engage. So that means we're going to draw the other person who can engage at 6 o'clock low. So how do I know that these guys can attack at 6 o'clock low? Well, I'm going to show you as soon as I find the crew member who can. Okay, so it's gonna be the ball turret gunner, and we see here is the areas which he can attack. So 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock low. And we put him there, okay? So that's the ability of the co-pilot, right? Okay, so we now go to, we stop drawing. I could keep drawing, look for, little friends or wingman or whatnot, but I'm not going to do that because that's going to, just give me a risk to find more enemy fighters. And I already have a good chance of bringing this guy down because I have the tail gunner who will do 2 hit checks and the ball turret gunner who's also going to do 2 hit checks. We'll start with the ball turret gunner, okay? And to see if he hits now, I will look at the second action icon, and the first is a miss. And the second is also a miss. So we take the ball turret gunner and cycle him. And now for the tail gunner, the first shot is a miss and the second shot is a hit. Thank you very much. Alright, now we need to find what kind of damage it is. So we're gonna cycle until we find a damage card or a crew card with this icon, which means he's managed to hurt the pilot. Okay, so we have found a damage card, and this specific damage card is a structure card for the bomb bay, but that also means no damage to the enemy fighter. So unfortunately, we do not get a hit, even though we had 4 chances, we did not get a hit on this guy. So now he gets to fire on us. So again, we use the second icon, and he hits. Okay, that's bad. Now we need to find what he hits, and he hits the navigator. So the first thing we do now that the navigator is hit is we use the 4th action symbol and see if we have a crew injury. And there's no crew injury, so that's good. If we would have had a crew injury, we would have used the 5th symbol to see if it was a light wound, a serious wound, or a killed in action. However, let's save this card because now that we've done the injury check, we need to see if there is any damage to the section where he's at, his position. And then we use the 3rd symbol to see, and it's superficial. Lucky us, okay? So we cycle the navigator, and actually, with this special card, all the German fighters have special abilities, and this guy has 2 13mm machine guns and 4 20mm machine guns. You will conduct 2 hit checks and choose the worst. Okay. So the first one is superficial, the first check, and the second one is a damaged one, okay? So a damaged one, that's it's still not so bad. The only thing that we have to think about now is that the position isn't disabled, but it needs to be repaired, and therefore we need to put the card like this. And that means that before we repair that position, the navigator cannot use his ability and he cannot fire his guns. But it's damaged, but that's alright with us, okay? And now we have fly by fire. And fly by fire, it means that this guy he's taking his shot and then he's moving past the B-17 and a new crew member will get to fire at him. And he flies past the radio operator, but unfortunately the radio operator, he can't fire because he has no gun. And now we get to the second part of the encounter. The first part is the fighters, 1, 2, or 3 fighters attacking in formation. And the second part of the encounter is fighters attacking individually. So this is resolved a little bit differently because only one of my cards can now engage him. I will scroll through these cards until I find a crew member or a wingman or little friends. Okay. Whoops. I find a crew member, I find a bombardier, and the bombardier will get 2 hit checks against this plane. The first is a miss, and the second is also a miss. So the bombardier has failed. And that means, again, we will get, the enemy will fire, and the enemy misses as well. So now we get fly by fire defense again. So we scroll to the next crew member. And we get the co-pilot, but the co-pilot does not have any guns. So this guy gets away. I have no damage, but he has no damage either. Okay, and we check the English channel. The English channel only has one encounter. Let me focus on that card. One maximum encounter, so we automatically advance to zone 1. And I just noticed that there is actually one thing that I have forgotten to do. And that is very simple. Before you start your mission, you will do a recon check to see how many enemy fighters you might expect to find this day. You know, it might be bad weather or whatever. And the way you do that is you count the zones except England and the English channel. So we have 1, 2, 3. And then you will do 3 resolve checks and look for the last symbol here. For every green thumb, you will remove 1 enemy fighter from the deck. So 1, 2, and the last one is negative. Okay, so we have 2 fighters to remove. So let's find them. You will remove the first 2 fighters which you find. Okay, I told you there's so much things to think about. Even though I play this quite frequently now, I always forget one little thing. Okay, so you just take them to the side of the game and you add them after you complete the mission. But anyway, we have now advanced to zone 1, and the first thing we're going to do now is attempt to repair. So we find our damaged position, which is the navigator, and we attempt to repair. We look for a green thumb. And we fail, so he still has a damaged position, meaning that we cannot use him until it's repaired. Okay, so now we're gonna look for a zone plus or an enemy encounter again, and we have another enemy encounter. Okay, so we add that, and it's gonna be 6 o'clock high again. We have the bombardier, he can't help us here. We have the portways gunner, another BF-109, but we have little friends. And little friends will discard both of this card. And then once it's been used, you're gonna go ahead and turn it like this. Okay. And let's see, in zone 1 we can have a maximum of 2 encounters. So we have to keep going. And we have a random event. Okay, so random events will happen during the movement zone. And the way you resolve that is, let's take out the random event card. You simply put the 3 top cards. And you read out the thumbs here. Oops, you cannot see that. Okay, so we have red thumb, green, red thumb. And you look at the random event card. So, red thumb, green thumb, red thumb. Intel briefing got it wrong. +1 encounter this zone. And then you flip the card, okay? So instead of 2 encounters for zone 1 now, we are gonna have a total of 3. And then you put the card, you cycle it, but don't forget to flip it. Okay, so we can have up to 3 encounters this zone, but luckily we draw the co-pilot, which has the zone advancement, and we advance to zone 2. Okay, and next card, and before we actually... we have the next card, he advances again to the mission. And before we actually do that, because in zone 2 we run out of fighter cover, so we have to find little friends now and flip it. Let's see. There we have little friends, and we flip that to this side, okay? Since we don't have any fighter cover. And also I am gonna go ahead and try to repair with the navigator. So this is already used, and we have a green card, so he's repaired. Now I'm gonna have to try to get over to the mission, and we have a zone plus, so we advance. Okay, now we are in the mission zone. What I need to do now is to find a bombardier. And the rules say to put him on the side like this, but I think it's so damn annoying to have him on the side because it's making shuffling so hard. So I'm just gonna put him there to show that the bombardier is currently busy. He's sighting in on the target and can't attack. So he's busy. Alright, now we need to find the flak and resolve the flak. So we don't want any enemy fighters, we want the flak this time. But we have an enemy fighter and he's coming from 3 o'clock high. And we have the flak which we wanted. And another fighter and another fighter. Whoa! From 3 o'clock high, so all we can do now is try to find our wingmen and okay, so we have the co-pilot, that's cool. Alright, so the co-pilot lets us find everyone who can fire at 3 o'clock high, which is the starboard waist gunner and the flight engineer. And then we're gonna keep shuffling and bring the wingman out here. Okay, so we will put one of these guys on one of each target. The wingman on the BF-109 and one crew member each on the 109s. So we'll start with the wingman who is fighting the 109. And we do one hit check only. And it's a hit on the 109. And it's the landing gear which gets hit, which has no damage impact on the 109. And then we have the flight engineer. The flight engineer, as you can see here, gets 2 hit checks against the 110. So first is a miss and second is a hit. And it hits, what does it hit? It hits the structure. Again, no damage. And then we have the starboard waist gunner who only has 1 hit check. It is a hit. It is control damage. And we look at the third symbol. It is a fire. So the BF-109 is shot down. He managed to shoot him down. And that's a kill scored by the starboard waist gunner. So you should now use a permanent marker and mark up that first swastika. Once he gets to 5, I believe, or maybe 6, he will get an ace status, which means he will do, I believe, 2 hit checks instead of 1. However, I have chosen to use one of these instead, a printed paper, because I don't like using the marker on my cards. You can get rid of it with alcohol, but I think it's messy. So starboard waist gunner, which is number 6, we mark off his kill here on my paper. Alright, so that's it for him. Now these guys get to fire back. So first the BF-109, and he misses. And then the 110, and the 110 hits. And he hits structure damage. So now we will see the extent of it, and it's just a normal damage. So we take this card, structure card, and put under our bomber to remember, to remember that we have taken 1 hit on the bomber. Okay. And let's see here. I'm messing up. And the bombardier is here. He's busy. He can't do anything. And now we have fly-by fire. So let's start with the 109. So we go to the next crew member. And it's going to be the co-pilot, but the co-pilot has no guns, so nothing happens. And then we have the ME-1010, and he flies by the navigator, who shoots with his cheek guns, and it's going to be a hit. And the hit is to landing gear, which does no damage. And then this is special for the ME-1010. He has a special ability that he actually makes a flyby attack after defender's flyby attack. So that's the only German fighter that gets also to attack during this stage. And it's a miss. Lucky me. Okay. So now we get again to this second part of the encounter, which is individual attacks. So we start with the 109, and the 109 passes by the pilot. There is no hit. And the ME-1010 passes by the wingman. The wingman gets to fire once. So we do 1 hit check. It's a hit. And the hit is structure damage. No damage to the ME-10. Okay, that's a shame. So then now they attack again. the 109 attacks, and it is a hit. And the hit is control damage this time, and the extent of it is superficial, nothing happens. And then we have the ME10, and the ME10 misses. So again, we get fly by fire. And the 109 flies by the portways gunner, who hits. And the hit is to the engine, and is superficial, so nothing happens. And the ME 110 flies by the co-pilot, but the co-pilot can't do anything. And then the ME10 gets to fire now as well, and it's a miss. Okay, so the ME10 is now out of the game. He's done all that he can. But now the 109 remains, and that is because he has the special ability Superior High Altitude Performance. 1 initial attack and 2 successive attacks. Okay, so he will get 1 more successive attack, but before he gets that, we get 1 more defense. Okay, and the defense is from the ball turret gunner, who will get 2 hit checks. The first is a miss, and the second is also a miss. And then we have the last now successive attack, and it's a miss. And we get now to do our flyby, flyby fire, but he flies by the pilot who has no gun, so it's done. Okay, and that means, my friends, now because we're now at the mission, and the mission has a maximum of 1 encounter, so that means now we're gonna go ahead and find. We're gonna cycle until we find a flak, as we have had the maximum amount of encounters which can happen in this zone. And we find a flak. So here's the flak, and we see the mission AA here. AA is low, okay? So as the card says, light flak, conduct 1 hit check. If it was moderate, we would conduct 2, on heavy, conduct 3. And the hit is a miss. It's a miss, okay? So we manage now to avoid the flak, and now we do the bomb run. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is a weather check. We are looking for a green thumb. If it's a green thumb, that means it's good weather. It's bad weather. Okay, that's bad. That's going to cancel one of our thumbs now as we're bombing. Now we're going to do 3 checks, and we're looking for green thumbs again. Although the bad weather is going to cancel one of those. And we have 1 red, 1 green, and 1 red, 2 greens. However, the bad weather cancels one of these. So that means we drop our bombs, but it's basically just damaged. It's not out of commission, it's not destroyed. If it was destroyed, we would remove the mission card, but at least we did damage it a little bit. Now we go ahead and find a bomb bay card. Here is the bomb bay card, bomb bay loaded. We flip that to bomb bay empty. You should actually mark it up. It has damaged, out of commission, and destroyed. But I don't think we need to do that. I will remember in my head that it's just damaged, and it doesn't. It's just narrative, so it will not change anything. You will still get credit for the mission, no matter if you destroy it or not. Okay, so now we need to head back. And keep in mind, we have 1 structure damage. If you receive 2 damage of 1, also the bombardier goes back into the pile. If you receive 2 engine damage, 2 structure damage, or 2 control damage, you have to fall out of formation. And that is horrible, because that basically means you're going to take a lot of flak and a lot of fighters. Okay. Anyway, we're back in zone 2. And we have another random event, okay? So let's take out the random event card and put... Oh, it's not a good one. It's 1 green thumb, 2 red thumbs, okay? Let's see, 1 green thumb, 2 red thumbs. Wingman drops back from the formation and fades into the clouds. Search and flip wingman. Okay, so we have to get rid of... Let's go ahead and... cycle these cards. And I have to check. Yeah, search means we also cycle. So we will cycle until we reach a wingman, and then we will flip that wingman. Okay. And did I remember to flip the... Nope, I didn't. Always flip the random event card so you get another side, alright. Okay, so we're still alive, but we have an encounter, BF-109, and he's coming from 9 o'clock low. And we have another wingman, which we are gonna go ahead and engage him with, and I think I'm gonna stop drawing there. Okay, so let's do our hit check for our wingman. It's a miss, and then the 109 gets to fire on us, and it's also a miss. Okay, and then now we have the flyby fire, and he flies by the starboard waist gunner, who gets one hit check, and it's a miss. Okay, and then he will do another attack, successive attack, and I will get to fire back before he does, and I will fire with the port waist gunner, one hit check, and it's a hit. And the hit is an engine hit, and it's superficial, so unfortunately it doesn't do anything. And then the BF-109 gets to shoot, and it's a miss, and again we get flyby fire. And he flies by the co-pilot, so nothing happens. And then remember, the 109 gets 2 successive attacks. So again we defend. And we defend with the navigator, who gets 1 hit check, and it's a hit. And the hit will be to the landing gear, which is no damage. Okay. And then he gets to fire one last time, and it's a miss. And then we get one final flyby fire, but it's the pilot, so nothing happens. He can't fire. Okay, and we're in Zone 2. And Zone 2, we have a maximum 1... let me focus. A maximum 1 encounter. So that means we automatically now advance to Zone 1. Okay? We're in Zone 1. We're looking for it C+. We get it. We're over the English channel now. We're close to getting home. And this should be flipped like that. And we have a final encounter. It's a 109 from 9 o'clock high. And we find a radio operator. Ability calls enemy positions to formation. Find all wingman and assign to enemy aircraft. And let's see where we have. I know we should have one remaining wingman. And I think we were at 9 o'clock high, if I can remember correctly. So let's see if we can find... Oh yeah, okay, so we have the port waist gunner, so we're going to assign him, and then we're going to stop searching. So let's fire with the port waist gunner first. He gets 1 hit check, and it's a miss. So we cycle him. And then we have the wingman, and the wingman hits. And the damage is going to be control damage. So let's see the extent of the damage. It is normal damage. So we take the control damage and put under the 109's card. As we can see on the 109 here, he will sustain 2 total damage before breaking off. So 1 more damage to force him to break off. And then he gets a fire, and it's a hit. And the hit is to our co-pilot. So the first thing we do now is an injury check. He is injured. And the injury is a serious wound. Oof. Okay, so he's seriously wounded, so we turn him like that. And then we see the damage to his position, and it's superficial. So we don't have to care about that, but he is seriously wounded, the co-pilot. And if both the pilot and co-pilot get seriously wounded, you will also have to fly out of formation. Okay, we get flyby fire now. And he flies by the pilot, who can't do anything. So we have now a successive attack. And first, the tail gunner will fire defensively. 2 hits. The first is a miss, and the second is also a miss. And then the 109 gets to fire again. And it is a hit. And the hit is control damage, and the extent of it is superficial. Haha. Okay, that's cool. Now we get to do a defensive fire, but he flies by the radio operator, who doesn't have a gun. So we start over. remember the BF-109 gets 2 successive attacks, so here's the second successive attack. And first we get defensive fire. And we get that with the port waist gunner, who gets 1 hit check, but it is a miss. So the 109 fires again, and it is a hit. And the hit is to the bombardier. So first we do injury check, no injury, lucky us. And then we do extent. Okay, so we have damage here. So we extort him, the bombardier. We can try to repair that. It's just some damage to his position. And let's see. Okay, so now we do our last flyby fire. And we get the navigator, who has 1 hit check. And we look down here and... Okay, so it's the co-pilot and it is a hit. And the hit is to the landing gear, so no damage. And that's the 2 successive attacks that he will do. So he flies back, and that means, as we can look here on the mission card, is that there's a maximum of 1 encounter over the English Channel. So our plane automatically advances to England. So now we have the landing phase, and before we do that, it doesn't really matter. We could attempt to repair the bombardier's position, but it doesn't really matter. So we'll start with the landing phase. This time we have a total of 1 damage. So instead of 9 checks, we will now get 8 check because of that 1 damage. So again, we're looking for the Zone Plus icons. 1, 2, 3, and we get the Zone Plus. We have managed to safely land in England. Okay, so now that we have landed, we need to recover. The first thing we need to do is repair any position. So the bombardier's position, which was damaged, is now repaired. And then we're going to go ahead and find our bomb bay and turn that back. We will reset all our other cards, like our little friends card and our wingman card, which we also resetted. Returned. Okay, that should be it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do now is to mark up our missions. And again, you would normally do that on the cards, and you get a bonus after you completed 6 missions. You can use that to change the outcome of 1 resolve. But since I don't like marking my cards, I simply have a paper and I mark up all of these guys, and if they ever get killed or if they're sent back home, I just cross out the whole crew member. Okay, so now we have a seriously wounded guy here, which is the co-pilot, and we need to determine his fate. All right, so we're looking at this icon, and we're gonna look at the next card. And if it's a light wound, it means that he recovers and we return him to the deck. If it's a serious wound, he survives, but he's hurt, and he's gonna go to the replacement pool, and he's gonna stay in the replacement pool until that person, the replacement, is missing in action or killed. Or if it's a KIA one, it means he is dead. Okay, so seriously wounded. Okay, so that means that he survives, he recovers, but we will replace him with the co-pilot in the replacement deck, and he will go now to the replacement deck, and he's gonna stay there until this co-pilot again is either killed in action or seriously wounded. Okay, so that should actually be it. That's 1 mission, 1 out of 25 of Bomb Run. And actually, I don't know how long I recorded, but I think this is suitable for 1 video. So as I said, the missions can be quite, I mean, it says on the box 10 to 20 minutes, but I think for me anyway, it usually takes at least 20 minutes. But I guess it depends on your playstyle. But of course, it also takes a little bit longer as I'm discussing and telling you, the different rules and so on. So as I'm playing, without doing that, it goes a lot faster. One thing not to forget, don't forget to put back the fighters, which you removed during the recon phase. And another thing I like to do in between missions is that I like to properly pile shuffle all my cards in 6 piles, because the encounter cards do have a tendency to stack up, since you're drawing up to 3 encounter cards in one encounter, and then you know, they tend to get quite close to each other. So I like to do a pile shuffle to get a real good one. And again, make sure you flip your Little Friends card and your Bomber Bay cards and any other cards which are flipped. And then you simply go ahead and put the mission card back into the mission pile. If it's destroyed, that's three green thumbs, you will remove that card even though it's two-sided. But now, since it was only damaged, you're just gonna go ahead and shuffle it again, and you know, turn it a few times like I did, and then take the top card. And then the next mission would be Pilsen Industry. And there we see we have a full mission. So this one we played wasn't a full one. There was only 2 zones. This one is a 4-zone one. Also take note that there are missions. Here we have a Bremen shipyard, which doesn't have any fighter cover at all. So then you're gonna start the mission with Little Friends flipped. Guys, thank you very much for watching me play Bomb Run, an excellent solo World War II card game. You can get this game from the Game Crafter. I will post a link in the description of the video. And of course, in the future, I'm gonna do more missions of the Bomb Run. Perhaps one day I might do a live stream. That would be kind of cool, you know, a full-on live stream to see how long I can survive or if I can make it to the end. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and have a John Lee. I don't think you have this in the US, because this is the crappy bourbon which they send to us Swedes with some fake picture and fake name. So I'm gonna have myself a John Lee. I'm gonna sit down and edit this video, and also, you know the deal, what's going on. I apologize that there's not so much activity on the channel lately, because you know, I have a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, but I hope to get back to it this summer. I'm gonna try to take a vacation, and you know what I like to do on my vacation? I like to play board games. Okay guys, again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. See you next time.